So let's start. My name is Andrei. I'm the cybersecurity community leader at Heimdal. Most of you guys know me, but we have quite a few people that we never seen so far, so that's great. I am the host of the webinar, so you're gonna see my face pretty often if you decide to become a part of our community. Now, before I pass it to Alex, just some general housekeeping rules. Questions are more than welcome along the way. I have received and reviewed all the questions that you guys have pre-submitted within the registration form. And I gotta say, super interesting questions. Thank you for that. And we have a dedicated segment for that. But please feel free to come with your questions along the way, right? Because that's the only way we can make a super dynamic session rather than just waiting for the end of it. Now, at the same time, we're gonna have some cyber trivia with some interesting questions for you guys, in which if you participate, you have the chance to win a Heimdal Home Premium license. This is DNS security, patch management, and also antivirus for your home computer. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna pass it to Alex to continue the round of introductions.
Hello guys, my name is Alex. I'm working in MXDR department, and I'm started on June. I will be almost 1 year this year, and I hope that I will show you some things today, and I will present you. I will play a new role, but we will see after we will get in the webinar more. So thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Now passing it to the legendary Robertino.
The legendary, always, let's say the gray bearded Robertino. Hi, my name is Robertino. I'm the head of global pre-sales engineering at Heimdal, and I'm the guy Andrei is always nudging, say, do you have a crazy idea how we can do a hacking in our webinar? Some crazy ideas I will show you today, something like that, how you can maybe penetrate, and my colleagues then will show you how we are defending you against that.
Perfect. And last but definitely not least, Mr. Morton.
Yeah, good to meet you, everybody. My name is Morton, CEO and founder of Heimdal. Really pleased to have so many people on the call today, and I'm sure Alex and Albertina will give us a great show. So really looking forward to it.
Thank you, sir. Then I believe that it's time for the surprise, since Heimdal is celebrating 10 years of existence, right? So would you like to walk the audience through how Heimdal appeared and how we evolved along the years?
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people on the call who actually know a little bit about the journey as well. So that's really good to have a lot of the old Heimdalian customers here. But yeah, back in, I think it's a quite interesting journey because Heimdal is today Europe's largest, what is called bootstrap cybersecurity business. Started back in 2014 with the DNS and the patching modules, which we then refined to kind of the market leading position they have today. They were refined probably up until 2018 or so, 19. We continued to evolve them. Then in 2016, we added an antivirus, taking us to kind of 3 modules at the time. It was a logical step. As some of you know, from that time, we OEM'd Avira into our stack. We've since changed that. We'll get to that later on. Come 2019, we bought a Danish business called Basic Bytes to add what is called privilege elevation delegation management. What is really interesting, I think, here for everybody to understand as we move up the curve slowly and steadily is that all of these modules work together. So as opposed to many other stacks or platforms you find in the market, all of these solutions here are integrated and work together. So you can block DNS processes calling out on DNS in the antivirus, the privilege elevation delegation management. You can ensure you don't elevate a user that has a critical vulnerability. So all of these are integrated. Then I'll move along, so we don't want to spend too much time on this. So in 2020, we added email security, email fraud, application control into the stack. Again, all of these being more and more integrated into a platform thinking. It was around this time we kind of then decided to have the widest stack of technology or widest cybersecurity platform in the market. We had many lovely discussions with Gartner, which back in 2020 still believed that the point solutions would win the market. was the bald guy from Scandinavia was hardly focusing or vividly focusing on the unified platform. So then come 2021, we added even more technology to it. We launched the rep module, started with the SOC, protecting the customers. And that SOC has greatly evolved since then as well. So as these modules have come on, it's been modules we've continued to refine. I would say kind of around 2021, the privilege elevation delegation management we launched in 2019 also became kind of market leading. The ransomware module today is certainly also one of the best you can find in the market, specifically for ransomware targeted solutions. Then come 2022, as many of you will know, we added the remote desktop into the stack, so you can kind of also support your users remotely and do all the kind of the productivity items, I would say, remotely for your businesses. Then in 2023, we launched the Threat Hunting Action Center, which personally I think is a super visionary piece of technology, especially for kind of mid-market businesses and MSPs. Because you can kind of get everything in one place. You can control all your risk from one console. You can action everything from there. It's not perfect yet because it's still an early on product and it is super visionary. So we're adding a lot of technology to it in the coming 2 months or so, which is kind of based on practices we learned in our SOC, where we use it ourselves, input from customers, input from MSPs. So that product will take another big lift kind of in the coming months, but then also extending into kind of June timeframe. In June, we'll add the ability to track users in the SOAR, which is going to be really interesting. So you can see where users logging in from or being attacked from across the globe. You can track their email flows. So I can, for example, see where is Andrei logging in and where is his laptop, because we have both the user view and the device view. So that's also going to be really, really cool. And then we relaunched the AV last year to kind of put it to market leading status, which I think it's getting there. It's getting really close to being superb. Has our own kind of ATP version in there now. We call it XTP, which you can use for threat hunting, but still stuff we of course continue to refine. But it certainly delivers a lot of technology enhancements. And then finally coming up this year, also in a month, maybe a little bit more than a month or so, we're launching what is called Privilege Account and Session Management. This is also targeted for kind of mid-market businesses who want to connect with what is called just-in-time into servers in a super secure fashion. So you can actually create the admin on the fly, connect to the session. We can record everything for you, what happens once it's connected, and then you log out, the admin is deleted. So that's another piece of unique technology being added to the stack. Point being, of course, it is a phenomenally wide technology solution on the cybersecurity front, and we're so happy that so many of you are continuously pushing us to continue to advance it. So thank you for your support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the quick introduction, and thank you for making all of this possible, right? Just a quick feedback from the audience while we continue, because I know you're gonna come back with a few segments across the webinar. The audio quality seems to be a bit wrapped or a bit robotic. It might be okay to also test without the headset. But nevertheless, we can move forward for now. Some people said the audio is good. Some people said it's a bit choppy. Let's actually see how it goes, and we can adapt on the fly. Now, as Morten Will said, all of these modules are working from one console. So just to put this in a different visual, right? This is how it looks, right? So we have all of these modules connecting and synchronizing with the Heimdal XDR, the Unified Security Platform, which is leveraged by Alex's team over here, the Managed Detection and Response team. And all of these work from one agent on the computer. Now, since we want to play with defensive tools, we need an attack, right? It's the story of our life. In order for us to have a solution, we need to have a problem, right? So with that, we actually have our dear Robertino that is going to attack us so that then Alex and I can play the defend exercise. Robertino, would you like to take it away?
Yeah, I just share my screen. Now let me see.
I'll invite you to share the screen right now.
That is good. That's perfect. And this should be this one here. And please give me a thumbs up if you can see Mr. Robert.
We see Mr. Robot, Robertino.
We can see him, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, the storyline. I'm the attacker, okay, but how will I attack now Andrei and Alex? Well, my idea was quite simple. I was participating a webinar where Andrei was presenting the solutions, etc. And unfortunately, at the end of the webinar, the guy from said, well, I will send you the questionnaire as an Excel spreadsheet, and so you have the numbers, etc., and everything in place by the end of the next business day, latest Wednesday. Well, with that knowledge, and unfortunately, I saw an email address, Google Mail, right there on the tab of the browser during the webinar. Said, okay, it might be a nice idea to attack them, not just simply with sending them a payload. So that is very straightforward, the malware, etc. No, let's do some completely different. So I decided to run an attack with Excel, and with Excel doing the reconnaissance that is necessary to get into the network. And from there, I'm then doing the real network reconnaissance. So I tried, first of all, to penetrate one computer with a manipulated Excel spreadsheet. And second, then from that computer with a hijacked RDP session, that was my idea, the rest of the network. Well, but how to do that in Excel? Well, I did some research, I did some Visual Basic programming, and at the end of the day, I had 3 modules to combine them into one Excel attack sheet. So first of all, I started with the basics. That means collecting the IP address, subnet, and then see who's alive in the network. So you see here, I have 2 reference things, and then I have already the IP addresses I could find in the network based on the calculation and running a ping directly from Excel. Okay, that is already fine. So I have now all the machines, or let's say IP-based devices that are available in the network. That is pretty cool. So I have my, let's say, my baseline for the network.
By the way, Robertino, I think you will get a new nickname in the webinars. The audience is saying that you are Mr. Robotino, right? So
that sounds good.
That's how we will present you going forward in the webinars.
Yeah, maybe, but that is a cool idea. Maybe I should have that as a nickname somewhere. But you see, now I have the overview of the network. I see the targets I can attack. After that, but okay, port scanning. Well, usually people are very picky on that. And how can I do that in Excel? And well, also that is possible. And now, that's cool. Now my remote desktop is frozen. That is much better. So nothing is reacting here. Let me just reconnect to right now, just a blue.
You were that good,
right,
Robertino? That good. You disabled your own computer.
I'm frozen.
Yeah, I believe Robertino will join us.
I just stopped sharing my webcam because.
Yep,
he's quite chubby, isn't he?
Yes, yes. Yeah. So guys, this is a good learning, right? Never try to be a hacker, because as Christian says in the chat, Mr. Robot's audio is bad. Don't try to be a hacker. Don't play with bad tools, because you will be captured and stopped. Luckily, the screen is back, Robertino, so we can see your AnyDesk right now. Now we can see your email.
But can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you okay now. Let's give it another crack.
Okay.
Let's take the email
very down. Okay. And you can now see also Mr. Robert again.
We can see your AnyDesk connection right now in progress.
And now, okay, that is fine. So recap. So we had the ping already, and now I was thinking about, okay, port scanning. So I was doing some research, and you cannot imagine Excel is also able to run port scans. So in my example, you see, I was just checking three devices right here on port 80 and 443. So very straightforward. But that means also I can scan the victim's computer for port 3389 RDP. So now I have all my tools together, and I'm sending Andrei exactly that file with some numbers, with using ChatGPT to have a very, very nice wording in my email. So please be aware that, for example, I have put that one because it was blocked by your security measures. I put it on a file download server, and then my victim will, of course, download it from there because I did that social engineering. And I was explaining why he should download it. Usually, if you get an email and say, download right here, due to the security training, you already say, that's dangerous. But when I'm explaining it to him, I'm opening the door, say, dear Andrei, please be aware of that. I tried it, but it was not working. So maybe the fault is on your side. I'm not pretty sure. Your AV software blocked that, or your spam filters blocked it. Please click download it from here, and then you will have the Excel file. And of course, I will explain him, please, if some measures are taken, for example, disabling macros, I will explain. And as I'm using pivot tables and data analysis, it is absolutely necessary that you activate the macros on that. And of course, I'm pretty sure 99% of all the users will do that. Exactly because I'm explaining it to them why it is necessary, and they of course are waiting for the data. So now I have my Excel spreadsheet. I'm pretty cool, I'm fine with that. And now after sending that, I'm assuming, and that is so typical, if something crashes, everything locks me out. Now after that, I'm switching over because I have the IP addresses, I have the host names, I know that the RDP port is unprotected. And then you see, right now I'm running a brute force attack via Kali onto that endpoint. So I have here roughly a list of 100 usernames that are very common. And also some guessing from Andrei, like email address, etc. Plus that password file has roughly 1 million passwords. So I can start it, and then it will hammer against the door and try to connect to Andrei. To shorten that, because we don't have the time for 1 million attacks with 100 usernames, I already ran that one here. And you see on his endpoint, there are 4 users that are either using the password root or, for example, sales. And not on Harold Finch, John R, I don't know who that is, and test. But I don't care. After detecting that, I'm now hijacking his session. That means, in simple words, I will remote into his computer. And that is my hijacked session right now. I am now impersonating Andrei inside his own network. So when I'm doing something, well, like running the Nmap, for example,
it also shows, Robert, it really shows how simple it is to use some of these tools which you can find free online. Yeah. So it takes a little bit of a rocket scientist, but not a full rocket scientist degree. Anyway, exactly. please continue.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. It is more a kind of MacGyver, taking different pieces together and then create, let's say, the bomb out of that. So you see, I can scan right there. I can do the Nmap. Yes, I can close it. I have also some script already prepared in my Kobayashi Maru. So here, for example, I have some PowerShell scripts that are, for example, scanning for the Wi-Fi password. So I can execute them right here with PowerShell and see then the result, etc. So everything I'm doing right now as Andrei on his endpoint during his VPN connected to his network. And of course, the result will be I will run a ransomware sooner or later. That will be the ultimate goal of the attack. But first of all, of course, I have to do the reconnaissance phase, collecting as much data as possible, like open ports, etc., on the different machines, hammering, again, brute forcing also internally to other machines, and so on, to get all this data completely in my hand. And one thing just I wanted to mention, you also can do what I really love is with Excel, you can post that messages or that data directly to a Telegram channel without any hassle, directly out of Excel, just for info. Now, after I was doing that, I was running all my scripts. Now, I would say it is time for Andrei and Alex to defend.
Okay, so I'll take the screen share back. And this one with pushing your information to your WhatsApp or Telegram, this is quite an interesting thing. So I'll take the screen sharing back, share my screen, number 2. And I have a question for the audience. I told you guys that you can win Heimdal Home Premium licenses, right? This is the question. How much time do you think it took Robertino to find and configure those attack components? And this is in matter of hours, let's say, and I'm watching the question box. It's gonna be 60 seconds open. So Dusan says 3 hours, Biko says directly, then Dog says 4 hours, 1 hour, 3 hours, 1. Let's see, 30 minutes, 4 hours, 6.5, 1, 12, 2 hours, 3 hours, less than 1 hour. Okay, pretty interesting, guys, pretty interesting. I'll just take 2-3 more responses. Okay, voting has closed, and people that have responded with 4 hours are the winners. So guys, just finding those tables that Robertino used and modifying the code in them. And Robertino is not a VBA code writer, right? So he literally Googled, found them, adapted them based on his needs, using again Google, and it took him 4 hours. So you can imagine what people can do with today's resources that are available out there, which is crazy. And the source for this is Robertino Matash. Okay, now since we have attacked, now what do? We will defend. So Alex, would you like to start the defend exercise? And by the way, guys, for this particular exercise, what we will do is Alex will play the role of a new joiner in the MXDR engineering team, a new joiner on level 2, and I'll let him know exactly, let you know exactly how we're gonna continue the exercise. So Alex, passing the screen sharing to you, my friend.
Sure, thank you. I'm waiting to share my screen.
Okay, let's see if you can share the good one from the get-go.
I hope that I will do it.
The right one, not the one with the paycheck.
No, not the one with the paychecks. Okay, let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we
yes,
see it.
We see the right one.
Oh, yes.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Okay, perfect. Okay, so basically what we are doing, I will tell you more or less how I'm starting my day, because usually when I'm starting my day at the office, I'm drinking a cup of coffee, or 2 or 3, depends. Usually I go to 3 cup of coffee. I know that it's not good for my heart, but you know, I needed to work a lot and I will need to check exactly what is happening, and I need a lot of energy for this. Okay, so basically what I'm doing, I receive an alert already on as a ticket, and I'm checking to see exactly. I know already the endpoints and everything, and I'm going to click on Threat Hunting and Action Center. And I can see the globe here. And I'm seeing some red thing, and you know, when you see red, something is bad or dangerous, so I will need to check. So I'm clicking to see what exactly is happening here. And I'm seeing all the endpoints that I have, and because of the ticket, they specify exactly what is the problem with this endpoint. I will click on it, and wow, guys, I'm seeing here, it looks like a Christmas tree, to be honest. Usually you'll not see this every day, but for this, I'm seeing like a lot of malicious DNS that are attacking and also accessing. So I will need to have a help, because also I will play the role of a new joiner, how Andrei said. I will need the help of a, let's say, for this sake of the training, or let's say that I don't know what exactly is happening here, I will need the help of a senior agent in order to do a more efficient investigation. So I will call, as usually, my good colleague and the presenter, Andrei. So, hello, Andrei. Thank you for helping me today.
My pleasure, Alex. And it's quite a pleasure because I didn't do detection analysis quite in a while now. So yeah, what we can see from the get-go, Alex, is that even if this is a cyber Christmas tree, right? If we look on the right side, we can see that the person on this computer is trying to access Netflix. So they kind of have no clue that they're under attack right now. They just want to watch a show on Netflix. I'm wondering what they want to watch, but regardless, we will kind of stop their Netflix connection because Alex, I bet that this is a priority one case, a critical case. Let's actually find that out. Let's go and see the spider risk chart for this endpoint, please. And let's see how it looks. And most probably we're going to stop their Netflix show by isolating the computer. And as expected, Alex, what do you see over there?
I'm seeing a lot of detections, and most probably instantly when I'm seeing this, most probably we will need to go and isolate the endpoint for sure.
Exactly. That's a ransomware outbreak that's going on right now, and we need to make sure that doesn't spread. So let's isolate the endpoint, please. Okay. So now endpoint is isolating. So let's see exactly what we can determine from this particular endpoint, so that we can further our investigation and make sure that we clean up this particular customer, and then extend the investigation to other endpoints and see to what extent this has spread within the network. So Alex, where do we start?
We will need to check exactly and see what exactly is happening. So we will need to check all of the things around here and explain what exactly is happening here. So first of all, I will try to access and see the information from the Zero Trust.
Okay, so Alex, what do we see in Zero Trust? Let us know.
First of all, I'm seeing that it's a big score, that it's 7.6, and it's also informing that it's critical. So this means that something big is happening here. Most of the time here, we can see the application that were stopped. They are not signed by a company, right sign.
Okay. So basically, to extend this to everyone, this is a component which will capture software without a valid software certificate, which malware is usually without. So by the looks of it, this is trying to install multiple components and execute them on the machine that are being stopped by the module. Okay, let's further our investigation because all of these are blocked. We just have this information ready for the report with the customer. And by the way, Alex, I bet you already started a communication channel with the customer, right?
Obviously, yeah, I already opened, and I'm gathering all the information in order for me to inform him what exactly is happening and what he needs to do in the future.
Perfect. Let's also keep a level 1 agent nearby so that they can further any urgent information to the customer, okay?
Okay, I will go and select the next one, which is REP. It's the ransomware encryption protection.
Okay, and as expected, we already see that we have a bunch of detections that some of them even say they're ransomware directly. So they had the audacity to put that in the name. But we also see some other gibberish type of applications over there, which are most probably components of ransomware. By the looks of it, what I can tell is that they are trying multiple strains of ransomware. This is not something that it's just one ransomware that's being attempted. They're trying Maverick, and by the looks of that, they're trying eKing and so on and so forth, WannaCry. So we might have quite a big surprise over here. Let's continue.
Let's continue. We go to the next one, which is the XTP. And oh, I'm seeing here a lot of things, the defensive ones. I will explain a little bit more. So basically what we are seeing here is the security event log cleared. Also the firewall is disabled. They try to capture Wi-Fi password, and also they disable the ETW trace. I think we will need to investigate further on this, in my opinion. What do you think about this?
You're spot on. Let's dive deeper into this, please. Let's see a full investigation on them.
One moment.
Just if anybody's in doubt, whilst Alex is moving to the next point, the portal we're using here is in particular the Threat Hunting and Action Center, the product we kind of referenced before. That's actually a Heimdal product, yeah. So it's not something we built for our SOC. We just use our own medicine, so to say. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. As you can see here, we have the exactly what I was telling. From what I'm seeing here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andrei, but I'm seeing that they are trying to do also because we saw the ransomware attack. They are trying to delete their traces and also to move to another computer. From my experience, from what I know here.
You are spot on, Alex. So what you're seeing over there, let's actually take it from the bottom, right? So if you can scroll down to the bottom, please, and add more items to the page because we have some more detections over there. Let's look at the detection and let's look at the timeline of events. So add 20 or 50 items to the page, please. 50, perfect, thank you. Okay, let's scroll down a bit and let's see the first detection, please. Okay, so the first detection is them trying to remove the volume shadow copies. So for everyone's information, and I know the majority of you already know what that means, they're trying to delete the local backups. Then we can see an eking Phobos detection, which is a known ransomware. This basically means that our extended threat protection has found parameters that the eking is using in their attack. Then moving further up, they have attempted to disable the Windows Defender firewall via NetSH, which is a very well-known tool that is an admin tool used in attacking. Then they have reattempted the eking Phobos attempt, which I bet are those two detections that we saw earlier, Alex, the ones with the scrambled name. Yeah. Afterwards, they attempted again to remove the volume shadow copies. And I bet that this is the place exactly where our ransomware actually stopped it, but nevertheless, we'll see that further. Then disabling the ETW trace, as you mentioned, Alex, this is basically to hide their own tracks, which is a tactic used in persistence so that they can remain within the system and attack further. You well pointed out that by capturing the Wi-Fi password, they're attempting to move on other computers. So I bet that when we look at the brute forces, we will notice attempts to brute force internal. Now, if that failed, they want to use another method to be persistent in the network, which is capturing the Wi-Fi password, right? Yeah. Then again, firewall disablement, security event log cleared. When we see security event log cleared, it's simple. They just want to hide their traces. They want to be to have more persistence in our system. And sometimes, unfortunately, attackers get to delete the event log and they remain in the system even after you recover from the initial attack, just waiting for a few more months to pass and attack again, which is a big problem. So as you can also notice, Alex, when you look at the time, look at how similar these are. Like look from the bottom to the top. So 4:15, 06 seconds, 07, 09, 11, 13. So basically, if I look at this, I can bet that one of those scripts that Robertino initialized, our attacker initialized, has attempted to do all of these and even some more, like downloading additional components to do the attacks and so on and so forth. So all this information, Alex, needs to be contained within the incident report for our customer, okay?
Yeah. Oh, also, perfect. I wanted to show to the people that it's a couple of seconds how fast they moved in order to do everything that they try to do.
And it's actually funny if you look at it. In average, they just need 10 minutes from the moment that they have their homework done and the moment that they're in your network to deploy the full attack. 10 minutes. So speed in detecting and responding is of critical importance. Okay, let's continue the analysis. Let's move back to the threat hunting and action center view so that we can see the rest of the modules. Thank you. Now, just move on the left. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with the extended threat protection. What's next, Alex?
We go to the next gen antivirus, the next one.
What do you see here?
I'm seeing here that a few apps were blocked, and we can see that from my experience and from what I'm seeing here, because they access this, they are trying to steal some information from the system.
Exactly. They want to do further reconnaissance. If you look at it, Sysmon is a system monitoring and logging tool, right?
Yeah.
Which is usually used for legitimate purposes. However, what you can see here, since the antivirus has blocked it, this is an engineered version of Sysmon made specifically by the attackers so that it might actually push the information directly to them. Something similar to what Robertino mentioned earlier with sending the information via WhatsApp or Telegram, right?
Yeah.
The second one, that looks again very similar, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
System Informer, exactly. So what are they trying to do over here? Is it more reconnaissance?
Yes, exactly. They are trying to see more information about the system and try probably to push something. As you can see also on the third detection, it's a Chrome setup. They are trying to do something.
What about the fifth detection? What about the fifth detection? Can you check that out too?
The Spotify?
Exactly. So basically, what are they trying to do, Alex? Do you remember those red DNS connections on the globe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I bet that when we get to the threat prevention endpoint DNS security, we're gonna see some interesting things. They're trying to drop what we know as exploit kits, installers that have been infected or updaters that have been infected with malware. Let's see what's next in the brute force, and then we're gonna get to the missing updates, and I bet we have some missing updates in that regards.
Okay. Here we see some brute force attacks, but I want to investigate more about this because I don't have all the information here, and I want to see further.
What do we notice here?
I noticed that we have some local IPs and also some brute force attack that are from the private IPs and the public one, from what I'm seeing here.
Okay, so that basically means that they're attacking us from within and from the external side, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's investigate that internal IP. Maybe we can figure out another machine that's affected within the network and we can stop the spreading. Not the public one.
Yeah, not the public one. Yeah.
Okay, let's see how would you go about that. Perfect.
I will go to the active clients, and here I have somewhere when I can put the IP. My mouse is dying probably because it's not moving. Wait, I want to
use your trackpad. We're in an emergency critical case right now.
I know. I'm trying.
Your mouse is not an excuse, Alex.
I know. I'm trying. Don't pressure. Okay, it's back. It gives me a chance. Okay, apparently I cannot find anything with this IP.
Okay, contact level 1 immediately on our internal chat and have them push this information to the customer. Have them identify in their internal records which machine was attached to this particular internal IP. They will find that in their domain controller and let them know that that machine needs to be immediately taken away from the network because that is also infected. And also have this information ready for the timeline of events and report. And let's continue further because this is a case that never stops giving, as we can see. Let's see what else do we have here.
Yes, I'm trying, but my mouse, I'm trying to move everything. It's something laggy. I'm trying to move as fast as I can.
Don't worry about it. That's why we're a team over here. It's multiple people. So what I'll do, Alex, just to avoid the blocking of the mouse on your side, I'm gonna continue because again, we're a team and we need to support each other. So let me steal the screen share from you.
Please.
Okay, not to worry about this. Change presenter myself. Let me share my screen. Let's continue and finish our beautiful analysis over here. Okay, let's see a thumbs up confirmation that you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. Let's do this in full screen. Okay, the last portion of the analysis over here, and guys, I'll go pretty fast through this one so that we can move to some prevention steps. And we have a lot of interesting questions from the system, including Sky saying maybe they got into Alex's system and broke his mouse. So Alex even told you they trolled Robertino, they trolled you. So let's see if I'm next, right? So guys, again, I'm gonna zap into the Threat Hunting and Action Center, move down over here. What we can also notice is directly there are vulnerabilities on the machine. And within these vulnerabilities, these could have been either used at the beginning of the attack after the reconnaissance, or they can be used further to develop more persistence. So we need to be very careful with these. Alex and the level 1 will immediately patch these and also analyze what happened in the policy that these were not patched from the get-go. Changes happen, right? So we need to make sure that we stay on top of it. And last but not least, we're gonna take a look at the DNS, right? Aside of Netflix, which you already know what that is, we're gonna look at the other ones a bit. And when we move over here, we can see a command and control server, which most probably is used via an application installed maliciously on the computer called GameBar.exe. We can see also a malware site, which could be a dropper server. And we can also notice, if I just put more items on the page, that we have an absurd amount of websites that look to be gibberish and look to be very similar because they all are coming from the .biz domain. So what would a threat hunter do? Quick analysis on virus total, open a few of these, and just by opening 2 of them, we can see in the relations that there are some malicious files that are being attempted to be dropped from this website to your computer. And if we go on the second one, we can notice what? The same files, right? So this is most probably a domain generation algorithm type of approach in which they multiply their domain. And based on what we see on the Threat Hunting and Action Center from the get-go, is that they are trying from multiple locations, right? We have Central America, North America, we have Northern Europe, we have, I believe this is what? Starting Russia or something. Even we have Australia, right? So they're trying to find across the globe and make sure that we cannot trace their true location. So guys, this is basically a day, one of the critical cases, an exercise in the MXDR team. Again, the computer has been isolated, so the threat has been contained. Now they're investigating and moving further to taking all the logs, analyzing what's happening, checking other computers on the network to see how much they have spread. And the next steps would be to, of course, revoke the attacker's presence from the computers and then restore. Now, with that being said, I actually want to move back to the PowerPoint because we need to go quickly into the Q&A because we have a bunch of questions from you guys. We have defended. Now, let's see. Do we have any other speaker wanting to pitch in, or I heard something?
No, I was just coughing, Andrei. Apologies.
No worries, sir. No worries. No worries. Okay, so I have a question for you guys, which again will give you a chance to win a Heimdal Home Premium license. What was the average time to identify a breach in 2023? And you'll be shocked by this, or I was shocked by it, and I bet that you're going to be shocked as well. Okay, 32 days, 10 minutes, 6 to 8 months, 235 days, 2 months, 22 hours, 6 months, 4 months. Oh my God, so many responses coming in. Like this is actually a great crowd. Thank you guys. It's amazing. So let's see. I'm trying to find who is closest to our response over here. 10 minutes, 12 days. By the way, guys, we're not talking about how fast we saw it. We are talking about the industry standard in 2023. Okay, let's see, 7 days. Okay. So 3 months, 48 hours, 8 days, 4 years. Now that would be a bit depressing. But the average response time to identify a breach with teams that have advanced threat intelligence was 73 days. And this is coming from the IBM report, Cost of a Data Breach, which is a yearly report that they do every year. Now, I'll try to find exactly who was the closest, and I'll send you guys the license. I have over 60, 70 responses over here, so it's impossible to track. But I'll give to the closest north and south from this. Now, that's actually stunning, and here's why. Because an attack might actually not happen like we did it today, guys, because they will sit there in your network and they will wait for the perfect opportunity. And once they know they can disable your defenses, then disable your method of recovering, and then disabling their trace, wiping their trace, only then they will attack. So that's why 73 days. However, if you have technology that, and I'll get back to this for a second, technology that will show you details such as, and let me go to the extended threat protection for a second. People that have similar technology, please leverage it because it's very important. Something like this, disabling of ETW trace. This is very important to take action upon and investigate and see what process is starting this and take a decision about that because it's very important. At the end of the day, you do not want to ignore a small alert that can actually end up in destroying an entire environment and taking your business offline. Now, moving back, we also love to be proactive. So I believe that Robertino has a few recommendations for you to prevent such attacks. And Robertino, I'll give you about 3-4 minutes to do that, and I will manage the Heimdal portal. So in case you want me to look in the Heimdal portal to show something, let me know. I'll keep the screen share.
Okay, so let's start. First of all, train your people, number one, because security is not only a technology, it's a mindset. So as you've seen, social engineering, spear phishing, explaining, etc., is always a danger. So usually the thief comes because somebody's opening the door. That is one thing. On the other hand, of course, you can be preventive, as Andrei said. So let's start with DNS at the first mode of your fortress. So block everything that should not be come in or go out. So data leakage or info stealers are not possible. Limit, of course, the access to suspicious domains. So block by category, for example. Number one. Number two, I don't mention the next-gen AV. Everybody should have that. That is a must-have. But do patching and do also remove local admin rights. You can't see it because my camera is broken. Today we have the day of broken hardware. So you have two attack vectors that are opening up a huge attack surface: unpatched applications and local admin rights. The problem is, as we've seen that in this case, somebody was downloading, considering it was a valid download, always an update for his software, for example, from a suspicious source. So be aware, have hygiene in your software environment with our patch and asset management. So you see also reported applications that are installed on the endpoint and get rid of them, number one. Number two, only allow software that you have approved. So use third-party patching to have verified patches and packages, and Infinity management to deploy from your site checked packages. That is one thing. And then PAM and application control to control the access on resources, or with our upcoming tool PASM, also directly managing connections as a session broker. So reduce the amount of local admins to a bare minimum. The best thing is 0. With that, you can reduce that attack surface to nearly 0. 100% is not possible because you have always stupid users, but at least you can get near to that.
How politically correct you are, Robertino.
Guys, I'll try to sum up what Robertino said so that we can then get to your questions. First of all, Attackers are very sneaky and they can trick us regardless of how informed your users are or not. Second, attack surface needs to be reduced, right? You need to reduce the attack surface because there's always a weak link in the chain, and we don't want to expose our people to being such a weak link in the chain. And last but not least, as much information as you can give to the users. I see a lot of people agreeing with Robertino in the chat. Users are the weakest link, but it's our duty as professionals in cybersecurity to help them, because it's not their day-by-day job to be on par with all the latest security threats and so on and so forth. So again, reduce attack surface, very important. Block any apps that you don't need, domains and so on and so forth. Inform your users, right? And make sure that you stay updated with the latest news within the industry. Now we have a bunch of questions, and I believe we have what, 10 minutes or 8 minutes to respond to the questions. However, before we get into that, guys, I know that lots of people wanted to chat. So scan this QR code. This will open up a Calendly link to me. This is going to be an Ask Me Anything session, no strings attached. And also within the place that you give me feedback, and you guys know I love your feedback, within the webinar survey, you can actually book a session for a demo or book a chat with me, or even book something that's pretty sought after, which is a free cybersecurity posture review. And Christian actually says, if I scan this QR code, will it open a ransomware on my phone? So guys, when you scan QR codes, I know that there's such thing as quishing, which is QR phishing, right? But when you scan QR codes, there are safe apps that will either analyze the link that you're about to open or tell you the link that you're about to open. Mine will show Calendly, Andrei, 30-minute meeting. So I can guarantee there's nothing on this particular QR code. Okay. So with that being said, let's look at an amazing set of questions that we have received. Guys, I have over 80 questions over here. I have grouped them in a sort of a way so that we can cover as many as possible. So methods to detect and prevent, detect and response, we covered that. How can we protect our system from AI and hacking or manipulation? We covered that. Let's see what's something very, very interesting over here. Somebody is asking, in general or in Heimdal, we have AV, a next-gen AV, and usually we have components that handle most specifically ransomware, right? Ransomware security. What's the difference between them, and what can one of it detect, and what can the other detect? So I think I went over this a bunch of times. Mr. Morton, since you're on with us, I believe the audience would actually benefit more from a different response from mine. So would you like to tell us exactly how you see the difference between the two components?
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy to go through. I mean, people, I think what people need to remember on this call is that most of the ransomware tools on the market today use some form of signature heuristic to do detection. The difference, at least to ours, I'm not going to go through all of them, but the difference, at least to ours, is that the ransomware encryption protection tool uses no signature and no heuristics. We use the number of files, but the level of files encrypted on the disk to find if there's a malicious activity. So once you kind of start encrypting files, we know something's going on, and then we look at kind of what is happening in that encryption activity to determine whether it's malicious or not. One of the indicators also being, of course, the volume shadow copy deletion that Andrei called out, and you can also isolate the machine based on that happening as well. So yeah, ours is completely signature agnostic. I think that's the main thing to understand. Whereas a lot of the others in the market use to some degree or to a big degree signature and heuristics.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. People are asking, actually, we saw this as about 5 or 10 times across the chat. Can we auto isolate if certain criteria is met? There is auto isolation upon agent tampering. So with Heimdal, it works in a way that if you attempt to deploy ransomware based on the agnostic approach, we will block it. However, what you would do to counter that is you would disable our system. So when you do something like that, computer goes into auto isolation so that we don't you don't get exposed, right? I hope this answers the version. I wanted to start typing this, but
there's actually a small enhancement coming to that as well, Andre. So in the next version, I think there'll be a grid view, so you can select what triggers the isolation yourself. So you can select from a grid when to isolate or when to quarantine, etc.
Okay, so Warren, John, and I believe what was the latest person asking this? So many questions in the chat is like exploding. Guys, people that are interested in the auto isolation, you heard Morten, there's a feature that you will be able to choose what to auto isolate. Now, another person is asking, and actually a few people asking, how to avoid the time I use to investigate emails caught by my email filter in Microsoft. Now, I'll give you my view on this one. When you have emails caught in your filter, you should be able to just consider those as a win and that they have been blocked. Now, unfortunately, some email security providers don't give you full access to be able to quickly investigate, nor do they give you some AI capability of a quick analysis. Now, depending on your chosen tool, it can be very, very different. Now, with Microsoft 365, there are a lot of articles online that you can leverage, right? You can connect with me. We can take this separately. There's no reason to just block it now. Okay, let's see. Can I take actions like disconnecting Wi-Fi and uninstalling apps on a personally owned work phones? You can, depending on the MDM that you're using. With Heimdal's MDM, we are focused 100% security. So you can locate the phone, lock the phone, and wipe the phone. But you can, depending on the MDM that you're using. People are asking, will there be a recording? Yes. Can we take those links to VirusTotal? Yes, you can use VirusTotal, of course. When Dark Layer Guard will be available for macOS? Dusan, it's already available for macOS. Let's connect and let's make sure you know where to activate it from. But it's definitely.
I agree, Andre. Just to jump in on that, there is an update on the latest macOS version, which is being treated at the moment. But Andre is right; it is principally available. But the latest macOS version has a different way of doing it, which we're working with Apple on at the moment.
Okay, so Dusan knew something about it. I'm sorry, Dusan. It's actually clear I have a Windows, not a Mac OS. So let's see, where's the time at over here? We have one last minute. Let me select the hottest question we still have here. Okay, this is a powerful one. So if S star 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 happens, right? I will not name the entire word. If something bad happens, right? Is it worth to negotiate with the attackers? And let me read the rest of it, or not? Example, to pay the ransom and so on, to estimate the volume of the data breach and so on. So Morten, I would like to pass it to you since you've been going around with this debate online recently. Would you, if let's say Heimdal gets breached, would you negotiate with the attackers?
I would principally say it's never a good idea to negotiate with the attackers, but it is a good idea to get an idea of whether they actually have something or not. So to ask them to send the data sample is always a good idea. Then at least you know if they have some of your actual data or they're just bluffing. So yeah, I principally say no, but it's always good to survey when you do get compromised or when they suspect you're compromised to survey the data from their side.
Perfect. So you would not pay the ransom. Basically, you would not.
That is always the principal rule. Don't pay the ransom. I can't comment for people's kind of individual scenarios, but you should probably not expect necessarily to get your data back, and certainly not the operationalism of your systems. I would never expect to get that back.
And even if you get the data back, what's to guarantee that they actually didn't make a copy and they will still sell it on the dark web? Right?
Exactly. It will just be a long-term extortion instead.
Exactly. Guys, I actually see something from Sky saying if you have a good backup of the network, I would not communicate with the bad guys. I would actually advise you to do that just to make sure what they have, because even if you do restore everything from backup, you don't know exactly what they have and what they're ready to do with that information. Of course, never pay. That's a bad idea, but yeah. By the way, guys, I see everybody saying thank you, great webinar. Let's do more of these. Please use that feedback form that you have out after the webinar, because that helps me understand what you guys find most valuable. And of course, we'll do more of what you guys find valuable. So with that being said, I know we're 2 minutes over the time. Anything else from my colleague speakers to the audience?
No, it's just really great to have everybody here, and thank you for the team for walking it through. So good work, Robertino and Alex and Andrei.
Alex,
thank you.
Robertino?
Absolute pleasure. And now I'm just curious what I'm thinking about the next time we are attacking you, Andrei.
Again?
Tomorrow.
I'll be sure that I will be there and help everyone, so don't worry about it. Even if Mr. Robertino will attack, I will be there and protect everyone, so don't be happy about that.
Alex will be requested by people that have Heimdal MXDR to connect on their cases. Alex, please expect to become very, very notorious. And I actually love one last comment saying that I don't want this to end. Lol, have a beautiful day. And with that being said, guys, we're ending on a very, very positive note over here. Thank you so much for joining us, and be on the lookout for the next webinar. Have a nice one.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Bye.